Yo, men are not complicated. I saw the videos and the posts that she was making. I love that no one knows how much money I make. I feel like so many social media influencers are so out of touch. My dad knows that my flower has been deflowered. I have to just respect that I hurt someone. Hey guys, it's Kamrin and welcome back to my channel. So today we are actually gonna do a girl talk. I haven't done one of these in a little minute. They're actually my favorite to do because they're just like super chill. I love to give my opinion about things. I had you guys send in a few questions on Instagram. Grab your popcorn, get ready, because chit chat. The first question someone had was asking like, how did I get the money to start my business? I do have a video about that and I'm gonna make another video going more in depth into it because that video I have is basically just like how to start your business, but I never really did like a whole video dedicated to how exactly I started mine. But basically I started with $500 on my credit card and that's literally all it took to start my business. I think like the first month when I started my brand I had maybe not even 20 orders for the whole month. You just gotta scale your way up. When I was first starting out, I would listen to these podcasts of people that were like, oh, I'm starting my brand, I started from nothing, we're so successful now, yada yada. And then you hear like these stories about these people that had like $50,000 from their uncle given to them to start their brand, and it's like, that's not starting from nothing, but that's literally like way more than the average person. You can do it, you just have to manage your money very well. You have to know your customer and try to educate yourself as much as possible, because I didn't and I lost thousands of dollars throughout the process. When I go into that whole video and talking about that, you guys will get more details on it. I would say probably if you really want to do it the right way, I would suggest to save at least $2 grand if you want to do something very nice, but at the same time don't wait for things to be perfect, because I make that mistake with a lot of stuff. Like I sit around and I wait for everything to be how I want it and then I never get anything done. Like, don't be afraid to start at the bottom and work your way to the top. The next question, I get this one a lot. Like every time I do questionnaire boxes or girl talks and stuff, people are always asking like, how did you gain confidence in yourself? And I honestly, last year, like after my breakup, I literally lost all my confidence, which was very hard for me because before that, I was always very confident. After that, it was like non-existent. I hated the way I looked. I didn't even want to be on camera. I felt like I wasn't pretty, I wasn't worthy. Like it was such a paradigm shift for how highly I used to think of myself before. Not that I think I was, honestly, I think before that I wasn't even as confident as I am now. It was just such a shock because I was always someone that was pretty stable with myself and very content, and it was just like, after that breakup, I felt like I was just useless and worthless, and I hated being me. The problem with that, I think, is you have to really realize where you get your confidence from when you do feel confident. I discovered, like after going to therapy and stuff, that my confidence was in like point blank drawn from male validation, which was obviously like linked to a lot of trauma I had when I was younger. I placed all of my self-worth and my confidence in my beauty inside and out and just all that on how a man like cared for me or the attention they gave me. And when that went away, it was like, well, I must not be worthy anymore. I had to take a break from dating. I had to take a break to find that validation and that self-love within myself. I wasn't gonna get it from social media numbers. I wasn't gonna get it from a boyfriend. It was gonna be just from me. Once I got there, I think that's why I have so much higher self-confidence now, because my validation does not come from external things. My validation comes from within, and no matter what, even if I look like shit on a stick on a hot Sunday, I'm still gonna feel confident because I love myself. I love who I am. I love the person I've become. I have such a caring and soft heart now, and I'm so empathetic towards people, and I know I have so much to offer. And how can you not be confident in yourself when you know, like, I am the full fucking package? And I also stopped putting all of my confidence onto like how I looked. You know what I mean? Like, it stopped being like, oh, I'm so confident because I'm so hot. Because you will always find someone who's prettier than you, better than you at something. There's always gonna be someone who's better. Those type of things are subjective to people. Like, beauty is subjective, performance is subjective. Like, all these things are up to whoever is viewing and judging it at that time. So if you're basing it off of that, you're never gonna be content because there's always gonna be someone better. When you're truly happy and you feel like, okay, I have reached the best I can be, I feel like that's when you're able to gain so much confidence and you stop placing your worth onto the things that are meaningless, like beauty or money or social media numbers or anything like that, because there's so much more important things. And I think, honestly, I know it's so cliche, but like real beauty comes from within. And when you are a kind person and you're loving, I feel like that just shines out and it makes you externally more beautiful as well. So how do you know when a guy likes you? I think this is so funny because I remember being younger and always being like, oh, I wonder if he likes me, I wonder if he likes me. And after all of the dating that I've done, I have been like Taylor Swift with dating. People make men out to be so complicated. Like I see all these TikTok videos that are like, oh, don't text him back too fast, and you know, disassociate and don't attach. And there's like this like X, Y, A, B, C, D, like here's the bullet points you need to do for this, all this type of shit. And it's like, yo, men are not complicated, like at all. They're some of the most straightforward, simple human beings you will ever find. Like they are like so simple. You are never gonna have to question if a guy likes you, because if a guy likes you, you're gonna know. Think about how you are when you like someone. Men are not so emotionally in tuned as women typically, but you know when someone likes, like you know how you act when you like someone. Someone who likes you is gonna follow those similar guidelines. You should never have to guess if someone likes you, because at that point you shouldn't even be wasting your time with that person. Like they obviously, if they do like you and they can't express that, then that means that's not someone you should be with, because they are not in tune with their emotions. So that's drawn out. Leave the games behind. You don't want to be with someone that's making you second guess, like, oh, is he into me? No. You don't make us have that shit no more. Like, do you like me? Because if you like me, I need to know, you need to show it. The best book I ever read was Why Men Love Bitches. And I think I said this before. I might have said this in a vlog or something. I talk about this book a lot, but it is such a great book for women. It has a little bit of some like stuff that I don't agree with. And I think if you don't diagnose it and get to the bottom of what's really said, if you like read it at surface level, it's kind of stupid. Basically, the whole thing of the book is just like staying true to yourself and always prioritizing yourself and not making a man your priority. For example, I believe one of the examples was like, oh, if you had something to do that night and that guy called you and he was like, hey, do you want to go out? But you know you have to do that thing and you're like, oh yeah, well I was gonna do this, but yeah, I can go out with you. Don't do that shit. Like, you need to prioritize yourself and what you need to get done. So if I'm like going out with a guy and I know that I have, I don't know, this is not really applicable for everybody because it's influencer shit, but like I know I have a video due tomorrow that I have to get out, and this guy's like, hey, I really want to go out with you, and I'm like, okay, well fuck, I guess I just wanted to do a video, I'll rush to do it tomorrow so I can go out with him tonight. Fuck that. The 3 things that you should have as a priority above your partner or someone you're speaking to should be you, your career, and your family, and then comes your partner. Eventually, maybe your partner will become your family, but still, you and your career should be before that, especially as a woman. Like, we do not have the allowance to put a man anywhere above those 2 things. I got a little distracted, but yeah, you'll always know. How do you get over a friendship breakup? I know you had talked about yours being hard on TikTok and a few times on your vlogs. I would really like to know because I'm having a hard time. I'm not gonna get too much into detail about this just because it's not only my story, and I don't want to put too much details in it because, like I said, it's 2 people's story, so I'm gonna respect that person. Just backstory, like I had someone I was friends with for basically my entire life, like my childhood. She was like family for me, and still is, honestly, to this day. Despite things going bad, I will always have so much love for her. I would never ever wish bad or speak bad on her at all. She was with me throughout a lot of things and a lot of roller coasters, and I definitely would not say that I was the best friend for her. I had to come to terms with the facts that, like, it wasn't that I was a bad friend. I think just the way that how I conveyed myself was inappropriate for her, and I had to learn that through therapy because I was beating myself up for so long. Like, oh my god, I was a horrible friend, I treated her so shitty. And my behaviors with how I was, like, just for example, I was a very strong friend, and at that time I wasn't good at conveying myself to people because I grew up in a house with very strong personalities, to say the least. So I would get very frustrated when things were not, like, because my dad used to do this with me when I was younger. He would never let me go through things and mess up. He would just be like, I I told you, like, you should have done it this way, you don't listen to me, da, da. Like, he would get angry. And I didn't even realize that, but I adapted that as I got older. I feel like I started to push that onto her, and I became kind of like a mother figure when no one asked for that. We hit a few walls, and I think she just really was like, I'm not very interested in being friends with you anymore. And that was really difficult for me because that was right around the time that I was also dealing with the breakup. So I felt like, you know, like I lost this guy that I thought was the love of my life. Now my best friend wants nothing to do with me anymore. Like, everyone is leaving me and dumping me. And that was really honestly the reason I went to therapy, because I felt like it was such a reality shock for me that it was like, okay, I definitely experienced some trauma when I was younger. Maybe one day we'll go into a story about that. I had gone through a lot when I was younger, and I kind of always prided myself on being this person that was like, I'm not affected by trauma whatsoever. I'm like the coolest person, nothing's wrong with me. Last year was when it kind of, all the shit hit the fan. Obviously I have some problems. Obviously I am not able to communicate. I have a wall up with my emotions. I'm an emotionally numb person. I'm quick to get angry. I'm very pushy. Like, it was just kind of a reality shock. Like, okay, I'm not as perfect or as sweet or as nice of a person as I thought. It was really, really hard. I think it hurt me more than it did to, you know, break up with my boyfriend at that time, because that was someone I'd had for so long and someone that I adored. I saw the videos and the posts that she was making about me, and it was hurtful to see. I talked to my therapist about it, and it was basically like, I have to just respect that I hurt someone. This is her way of releasing her emotions, and I cannot spend the rest of my life, you know, being angry at myself or beating myself up over something that was a mistake, because I took the responsibility to make the change. People are in your life for a certain amount of time. She was the reason, you know, that I made such a big change. It hurts that that had to be what caused it, but honestly, I don't think I would have really made the change that I did if it wasn't for that. So the best thing I can tell you with moving forward is, if she's meant to be in your life, she will come back to you as a friend. You know, if you messed up or she messed up, try to have that communication, you know, try to communicate and see if it can be fixed. And if it can't, you have to accept that, you know, that chapter in your life is closed, and you will find better friends. Maybe not even that that person was a bad friend, but it's just like, you will find your people again. And it's hard. It's really hard. I totally understand you. I feel for you. I wish I could give you a hug. I know what that feels like. It's a horrible, horrible feeling. You have to appreciate and cherish the time you had together and love that memory that you had, and, you know, be open and willing and vulnerable to be friends again with somebody else. So how did you get the courage to go to therapy? I really want to go, but I'm scared people will judge me. You have really inspired me to go and get the mental help that I need, but I'm just so worried about how people are going to view me. I think that's a great thing that you're going to therapy. I really, really advise therapy. I'm like the therapy spokesperson now. Probably everyone's so sick of me. Like I said, I explained in that story, that was really what pushed me. I needed to go for a very, probably my entire life. My ex-boyfriend was always like, you need to go to therapy, you need to go to therapy. And I was like, no. And it honestly took my life falling apart for me to go. So sometimes there will be big events in your life that will really push you to go. It's not even about getting the courage. It's just like, when your time is ready and you know you're ready to go to therapy, you're gonna go. Worrying about stigmas, listen, I have had people be like, oh, you're going to therapy? You're fucking crazy. What's wrong with you? Like, oh, I've been in therapy for a year, you guys. Like, and that's also another thing. Like, I hear people make comments about that. Like, why have you been in therapy so long? What's wrong with you? There's all these like ideas that people that go to therapy are crazy, which I think is just so insane, because the people that go to therapy are the most mentally sane people you will meet. It's the people that don't go to therapy, because we go to therapy to get fixed. Mental health is getting a little bit better. People are a bit more open and kind. I feel like a lot more people are going to therapy than like in the last 10 years. If you live your life waiting for everyone to accept what you need to do or what you want to do, you're gonna be waiting a very long time. Like, there's always gonna be people that are gonna have problems with these things. Fuck them. That's literally like all I can say is just like, fuck them. Just go. When you're ready to go, you go. Who gives a fuck what anyone else has to say? Because once you're out of therapy, or like once you've reached that state of mental clarity, everyone's gonna be like, oh my god, how did you do it? You seem so much happier now, you seem so much put together. And then they're gonna want to go to therapy after they just sat there and told you like, oh, why are you in therapy? You must be crazy. You know what? Do what's best for you, boo, when you're ready to go. Do you ever feel guilty when you let yourself enjoy a meal that's not part of your diet? I am currently not on a diet. I If you guys have noticed on Instagram or just YouTube in general, I really don't even make fitness content like that anymore. I have had a very up and down relationship with fitness and dieting and all that kind of stuff. Personally now, I intuitively eat. I work out maybe once or twice a month if I ever get around to it. I have no specific diet. I eat whatever the hell I want whenever I want it. And this is the best my body has ever looked like, no lie. I obviously don't have like a super huge butt or wide hips or anything like that anymore. This is very much so my more natural frame. And I've received tons of comments on Instagram, you know, or like DMs like, oh, you look so skinny now, like what's wrong with you? I see your ribs. Typically they're from men. I feel like the more you focus on fitness and weight loss and all these things, the less progress you make. Like when you make it your everything, unless you're like literally on top of it like crazy, I feel like you just backtrack. Like I'm literally like down 20 pounds. I almost have abs now. Like I'm in really, really great shape. I barely work out and I don't even watch my diet like that. It's insane. No, I don't feel guilty about it anymore. I used to, like I talked about that before on videos and stuff, but no, I have a really, really, really wonderful relationship with food again. I do not feel any shame for not going to the gym for like weeks and weeks and weeks on end. I fit in workouts when I can and I really don't give a fuck if my ass is flat right now. I'm okay with it. I don't care that I don't have 42-inch hips anymore. This is me and I still feel beautiful and I'm so happy with myself. And yeah, I mean, it's amazing to have a healthy relationship with food. I literally just ate a whole tub of ice cream yesterday and I am damn proud that I did it. Like you gotta go through the journey. I was on it for 4 years. You guys saw me up and down. I wanna be skinny, I wanna have a fat ass, I wanna be super thick, I wanna look like a model, I'm gonna be doing keto, I'm gonna eat no salt. Like y'all went through me through all these phases and it's like, I'm happy that I went through them. I'm blessed that I was able to go through them, but not no more. I still love fitness. I have some people ask me like, oh, are you still into fitness? Like, do you do that anymore? I love fitness. I love working out. It's just not my life anymore. Like, I don't want that to be everything for me. And I don't want that to be everything for you guys either. Like, be the healthiest you could be. That's like the sweatshirts that I sell. Healthy is the new thick. It's what is comfortable for you within your body and health. Is social media a hard job to have? I feel like I'm conflicted about it. I don't like to call myself a social media influencer just because it has such a negative stigma to it, and I quite honestly feel like so many social media influencers are so out of touch. Like I was about to make a TikTok on this because I think it's so funny to me when these influencers get so much money and then they act like they just don't know what reality is anymore. It's like they start these fan bases and then all of a sudden they make all this money and now they're only buying Louis Vuitton, you know, they're doing Balenciaga hauls. Like who the hell do you have in your following that's buying Balenciaga? Because I know a majority of your followers are like 13 to 25 and ain't nobody got Balenciaga money. So why are you even making this content? And they're living in these huge houses and they're going on vacations to the Maldives and, you know, things that are just like, not that there's anything wrong with going to vacation on Maldives, but they're just like, I don't know, it's like living such an insanely lavish lifestyle that, and then making such completely disconnected comments. Like there's just one social media influencer I follow that she's constantly going on all these vacations and she's just talking about how she's just so happy and so blessed, and I am so happy for her. That's amazing. But it's just like, I don't know, personally for me, I would watch her stories and I'm just like, imagine someone that's like working a 9 to 5, sitting at their desk and they're miserable as fuck. And they're watching this girl go to the Maldives and everything and like talk about how lucky and blessed she is. And it's like, I don't want this to get taken the wrong way. Like it's so amazing, but at the same time, it's just like, I almost feel like it's like rubbing it in people's faces. And this comes from someone who makes a considerable amount of money from influencing, and I love that no one knows how much money I make. Like I've actually gotten DMs before that people are like, I can't tell if you're rich or not. I don't want anyone to ever feel like I am rubbing my excessive wealth, even if I get to the point where I'm making millions of dollars a year. I don't want anyone to feel like that. Like I never want for people to feel like I'm disconnected from them. That's just not the type of person I am, especially if it's like I made my money and my success from y'all because y'all rode for me when I had nothing and now we're here. I totally got off track, but like, is social media a hard job to have? I think it's a job. Like people, it has its difficulties, as do all jobs, but I don't think I would feel comfortable sitting here and being like, oh my god, social media is like the hardest job. You make a living taking photos and talking to your camera in your room and making videos. Yes, it's a grueling job. It is not a 9 to 5. You work 24 fucking hours a day, and if you don't work, you don't make money. It's horrible, but damn, is it a great fucking job to have. Like, I literally can leave to LA for 2 weeks. I can go to Tulum for a month. I can go to London for a month. I can decide not to work for 8 months to have my mental breakdown. I can do those things because I have this job. It's hard on your mental health. You get people that make stupid comments, but it's way better, I would say, than, you know, going into a 9-to-5 and dealing with some jackass, you know, boss, not being able to work on your schedule, whatever. So I think the pros way outweigh the cons, and it is an immense blessing, and I am so thankful I'm able to do it. It's everything to me. I love this job. But no, I don't think it's as hard as people make it seem. You know, you have to be mentally strong. Like, you gotta block out the negatives of it, and you gotta grind. Like, I like working, so to me, 24 hours, I wish there was 32 because I would get so much more done. Have you ever felt insecure about your face and wanted to get any work done? Also, have you had any work done as well? This ties into like the confidence thing. Again, if you guys have been around for a while, I used to talk about always wanting to get all these things done. I wanted a nose job, I wanted to get my lazy eye fixed, I wanted a brow lift, I wanted to get my cheeks filled, I had lip filler, I wanted to get jawline filler, all these things I wanted to get done. And it is definitely due to social media and being on camera a lot and having people make comments about your face, especially even modeling too. Like, it was super bad with modeling. I really learned to love myself the way I am, and I've stopped trying to achieve perfection. I feel like I have so much more to offer than just my face. You know, a lot of people come at me at face level and they're like, oh, you're so pretty, and I don't really ever get seen beyond pretty unless they take the time to get to know me. People don't know, but I'm actually a very intelligent person. I was always in gifted classes. Was always in AP. I did fail a little bit in high school because I kind of went through stuff. So I was kicked out of my magnet school program with like less than a 1.0 GPA, which was absolutely fucking insane. But within a year, I got it back up. I graduated high school with like a 3.8 GPA, which was kind of amazing to have transformed in a year. I am in college and I have straight A's. I'm actually a very intelligent person. I know it's kind of crazy, who would have known, but yeah. I don't know, I love learning. My mom always was like, you have to be so much more because people are not gonna see beyond your face, because people just sit there and assume that pretty women don't know anything, that they're just fucking dumb, which is so stupid. Like, I literally remember being in school and having teachers tell me like, oh, you're not gonna amount to anything, you're just gonna end up getting knocked up. Like, yes, literally, I'm not even making this up. Like, I literally had teachers tell me that I was going to be knocked up. I had one teacher tell me to not even show up to a test because I was gonna end up working at McDonald's anyway. For me, as I got older, it was like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking hustle my ass off, and y'all are gonna see that I can make this happen. And I wanna do so much more than just social media. Like, I am hoping that the business will start to get self-sufficient enough to where I can bring on a team that will just manage it. I do want to start a second business, so probably once I get that one off and going, then I want to start, you know, opening orphanages and shelters around the world to help with kids and things. Like, I have such a big plan, and there's just so much more that matters than how your face or your body looks. Like, there's much more that you have to provide to this world than a symmetrical face and a Coke bottle body. So much more important to be a beautiful person in this world and to have an impact, because at the end of the day, when you first meet someone, the first thing you notice about them is how they look. But after you've spoken to them, the next thing that you remember, and the most long-term that you remember, is how they were as a person. And that's what matters most. I don't want people to automatically think of me like, oh, she was so pretty. No, I want people to automatically think of me and be like, oh, she was so nice. I had such a good experience with her. Her like energy was so good, because that's what people take away from you. Obviously, they're gonna say like, oh yeah, she was pretty and her hair was nice, but like, I am more than that. So no, I don't get insecure about those things anymore. I mean, of course I have those days where I'm like, damn, bitch looking rough, but there's so much more to life than just that. How to handle feeling like a disappointment / failure. I think this comes from comparison, like comparing yourself to people, because obviously to feel like a failure, you have to have watched someone to succeed. You will never get far in life comparing yourself to someone else, because they have a different story, they have a different starting point, a different ending point, especially with how young we all are, because most of you guys are like my age. People succeed at different times. You can have your life take off to where you want it to be at 70. You know, you cannot sit there and compare your life to someone else who may have been granted more than you, or knew someone else, or just had all these advantages that you didn't have. You feel like you are working as hard as you can, you're always gonna succeed no matter what. It's impossible to fail when you are giving it your all. Even if there's something that you're bad at, like if you are practicing and you're honing down and you're doing it, you're gonna get it. I think the only thing that it's like, all right, if you kind of are not talented, you probably can't do it, which is singing. But even with singing, you can practice and get better, and then they can maybe put some auto-tune over it. And if you're good at songwriting, you might be a pop star. I mean, look at J-Lo. It be happening. When I feel down or I feel like, you know, I'm disappointed in myself or I'm not where I want to be, I always like to look back at where it was. Like, I talked about it in videos before, but I literally was a freshman in college eating ramen noodles. My car had no AC, it would break down on the side of the road, and I would literally have heat rash and be sitting there waiting for someone to come get me. And I was donating plasma to try to make money to feed myself. Like that was me freshman year, and that's not at all where I'm at now. You know, I'm doing my dream job, something that I did literally never ever thought it was possible. So it's like you have to look back to see where you came from, and even if it's like, okay, maybe I haven't even achieved half of what I wanted. If you have achieved like literally 3% of what you wanted, you've started. You're in that race, you're running, you made it past the start line, and that's all that matters. All right, last question, because I've talked so much. Your opinion on sex before marriage. If you are waiting, have you lost your virginity? I've never talked about like sex and stuff on my videos, just because I honestly wanted to wait till I was older, and I grew up in a very religious household, so I was like, oh my god, what if my parents watch my videos? But literally at this point it's like, come on, y'all, we know what's up. Yeah, I grew up with the whole idea that you needed to wait till marriage. It was not something that I obliged by, quite clearly. But yeah, I think if that's what you would like to do, then go ahead and do it. I'm never gonna disrespect someone's religious beliefs, or if that's just something they want to do. Sex is a very intimate thing, and it's very personal, and you do it at the time that you're ready and the method that you want to, because it's such an invasive thing, I guess to say, for lack of better words. And if you're not comfortable or doing it exactly how you want, it can be extremely traumatizing. I always advise, like, anytime you're engaging in any kind of sexual relation, to just make sure that it's something you're 100% comfortable and want to do. Yeah, no, I'm not waiting. I have not waited since I was 18, so that ship has sailed. Maybe we'll do like a girl talk, a little bit more specific on like sex and dating and stuff like that, because I feel like I am comfortable talking about it now. Like, I'm almost 22. My dad knows that my flower has been deflowered. Sorry. That's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this girl talk. I would really love to do these again. These were so much fun. But yeah, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you will be able to send in questions if you want when I do a little chat box thing. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you all next week.